Yeah.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, my name's Maggie Land. I am a career counselor from the Career Center. So usually I just have business majors, but this year I got like all the majors who are not science majors. So if you're STEM, if you're nursing, I'm not your career counselor, but I will still try to help you answer questions. You have a different career counselor. But what I'm going to say in this presentation can really apply to anyone, regardless of your major. So what do we do at the Career Center? What do we do? We help you guys with professional stuff. So whether that be like, hey, what's my major? What's my career plan? What am I doing? Why am I here? Like all those great existential questions. How do I become an accountant? How do I become a clinical psychologist? How do I become an occupational therapist? Or even something a bit broader, like, well, I'm a psychology major and I like the major, but I don't know what career I can get with that major. Spoiler, you have so many options. It's ridiculous how many options psychology majors have. Or, you know, I'm a management major and like, I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever your professional journey is, there's a way we can help you with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over sort of like what we do. I'm going to go over, you know, how you can use the Career Center or resources. And then I'm going to give you tips because I've noticed you can tell students until you're blue in the face what you do. And I'm sure you guys are hearing from like a lot of different offices and it's all going to start to jumble together. So I would love it if you would like pay attention to the entire presentation, but that may not be possible. I can't have like my own attention can't even be held through like a 30-minute presentation. So what I want you to at least do is the tips at the end, try to at least take that away, if not the entirety of the presentation. Oh, I forgot my introduction. I was going to do an introduction that I stole from a conference I went to last year where like the lady asked us, oh, what Harry Potter house are you? And I was like, what? Oh, I missed it. Never mind. Okay. If anyone's curious though, I keep getting Ravenclaw, even though I don't agree with it, but that's a whole nother qualm. Oh, I can't believe I forgot my introduction. Oh, well. Too late now. Okay, share screen. Here we go. Okay. All right, can you guys see the presentation? Awesome. Thank you, Randy, for like the thumbs up. I need that like assurance for sure. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I just realized there's like a little chat box. Yeah, I thought I was going to get Gryffindor. I have never had Gryffindor. I just keep getting Ravenclaw. It's baffling. I got Slytherin once. I'm just ignoring that. But anyway, EOF Career Center. Okay, what do we do? Oh, okay. So career planning, right? I sort of went over the career planning part where like we help you pick a major based off your interest. So once we can sort of help you get a major picked, we can help you figure out what are your career options with that. So for example, through maybe like a career assessment like the SIGI, the Strong, Myers-Briggs, or maybe just through having like a good old-fashioned conversation, you may decide, you know what, English is a great major for me. I want to be an English major. And then most people who don't have like a direct major like accounting or social work will be like, oh, what can I do with XYZ major? And then we'll sort of talk about, well, here are some career options for that major. You know, based off your skills, you may want to look into XYZ. We'll go over like what types of research you can do. So like career decisions, major exploration. We do resume and cover letter critiques. Okay, write this down. Get your cover letter critiqued at least once a year. Every time you do something new that's relevant, you should be updating your resume. You should get it critiqued at least once a year, if not once a semester, especially if you're going to use it to apply to stuff. Your resume is probably the most epic document that you'll ever write. And I'll tell you why, because it's a snapshot of everything you do professionally, especially now that we're really full throttle into a digital job search. It's going to be sort of like a driver's license where you show it to people and it's going to be seen online. That might be your first impression to an employer, unfortunately, until we start centering around in-person events again. So you want to make sure you have a solid document that has no spelling errors, grammatical errors, bad format, bad content, whatever. You want to make sure that your documents are like ironclad. Job and internship search, that's like our bread and butter. We'll help you find something, whether you need an internship, a full-time job, maybe something part-time, on or off campus. We'll help you find something. And we have a lot of resources to do that. We have Handshake, Career Shift. Each career counselor has like a special list of websites pertaining to their majors. I only give those out in appointments. See, even Randy has somebody look at her resume and she's like, a big deal. She still gets it critiqued. Good for you. That's right, Sarah, get your stuff critiqued. I wish it was a Slytherin. I think that's terrible. Oh my God, I gotta get it together. I'm supposed to be professional. Working from home has definitely made me less professional. Sorry, guys. Interviewing. That's just awkward. I'm sorry. Like, how often are you sitting with someone or like on a webcam with someone and they're grilling you? It's like getting interrogated, honestly. It can be very uncomfortable, especially for someone like me who like struggles to just like keep their mind focused. So we help you with interview prep. So whether you think you're like the best at interviews or if we fall somewhere in the middle or you just have a lot of like interview anxiety, we can help you through that and help you prepare for that. And no, before somebody asks, you should never go into an interview, without a plan. You need to prep for that. I've seen students that are like really qualified not get jobs because they bombed an interview. But on the flip side of that coin, I've had students where personally I thought this job's a stretch for them, but they interviewed well and they got the job. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. We help you with networking, personal branding. We have career fairs and networking events, different types of career events all throughout the semester. We obviously have Handshake. That's our job and internship database. And I'll actually show you Handshake, hopefully, depending on time. We help you apply to graduate school. Some of you will end up going to graduate school based off of what you want to do. That's, I would say, probably 25% of you will end up applying. And then out of that 25%, about half of you will end up going. So whether you want to do like pre-med, pre-health, law, social work, whatever, whether it be a master's, doctorate level, certificate program, whatever it is, will help you apply for it. Oh, okay. So we sort of went over this. I'm going to skip that. All right, major myths busted. So obviously none of these are true. I gave it away in the heading, but we're going to talk about why are these myths? Why aren't they true? Do you have to decide on a major right away? No. No, you do not. It would be nice if you knew as soon as you could, but you don't have to choose right away. At Rutgers-Camden, I think you have to choose after 60 credits. Yeah, I always check because when things change, it takes a while for it to trickle down. But after 60 credits, right? So technically, by the beginning of your junior year, you needed to declare a major. Ideally, I'd like you to know on day one, but you don't have to. And if you don't know what your major is, don't feel ashamed about it. Get help. Come to the Career Center. Let's figure it out. Because if you keep waiting, that takes you further from your goal, and that takes up more time. You might end up spending more money on classes. So really, like, do you have to decide right away? No, It would be nice if you did. And there's a lot of different things you can do to sort of figure it out. And we're here to help you with that. No one ever changes their major. I think I changed mine twice. I went from marketing. Oh, this is like a decade ago. More than a decade ago. I went from like marketing to something else to like public relations, marketing, English, public relations. But no, like everybody changes their major, not everyone, but I would say at least 2/3 of you will end up thinking about changing your major at the least. It's totally natural to change your major. Don't feel ashamed. I would rather you change it and be in a program that you want to be in. Because let's say you're an accounting major and you don't like it. And you're like, oh, well, my parents are pressuring me. And, I'm already 2 years into the program and I don't know if I want to do this. I'd rather you come in, let's have a conversation. Those classes could apply to other majors, especially if you stay in the business school. You could end up getting a minor in accounting and major in something else. Because if you're not happy and if you don't like the content of your classes, you're more likely to not do well in those classes. You have to do something that you're passionate about. And if your GPA isn't on good form, that's going to impact you if you want to apply to grad school. That's going to impact your ability to apply for certain internships and certain academic programs. So if you wanted to be like a Fulbright scholar, you need a good GPA to do that. If you want to intern at any of the major 4 accounting firms, somewhere like JP Morgan, you need a high GPA. And I know a lot of publishing houses want high GPAs. A lot of companies look at GPA, not all of them, but a lot of them. So you need to I totally got off topic, but that's why I'd rather you change your major than stay in a major that makes you unhappy. Plus, like being unhappy is just bad for your health. True story, like people, like look at the research. People who are unhappy tend to have poor health. There's a correlation there. So, just throwing that out there. My major is indicative of my career, not all the time. Obviously, there are majors out there where I like to say they're a direct major. So like something like accounting, you major in accounting, you are most likely going to be an accountant or an auditor. There are other career paths, but usually that's where you end up. If you're a social work major, you're most likely going to become a social worker. Let's think. If you are a nursing major, I would say you're becoming a nurse. That's very direct. But here's the thing, if you have a more open-ended major, especially in the humanities or the social sciences, you have a lot more options. So you could become a psychology major and go into, working in social work, clinical psych, family and marriage and family therapy. You could go into human resources, sales, education. You can go to law school. For a lot of majors, the possibilities are endless. I could talk until I'm blue in the face about everything a psychology major can do. That's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? If you have a more open-ended major, that ups the ante for you to do an internship. No matter what your major is, I'm always going to tell you, hey, you should do an internship. But if you have an open-ended major, it's doubly important that you do an internship to cement that option. It's like throwing an anchor off a boat. It's going to tether you to a certain area and it's going to make it easier for you to pursue that, right? But no, your major is not indicative of your career most of the time. Job and internship search. You got to prepare yourself. You can't go and just be like, I'm going to get a job. It doesn't work that way. You have to prepare. You have to have a game plan and we'll help you make that game plan. So first thing I'm going to tell you, if you come to an appointment with me looking for a job or an internship, I want to critique your documents. I want to look at your resume. I want to look at your cover letter. I want to create a strategy based off your major and your career interests. What positions are you looking for? In what industries? You know, do you have to be in this area? Do you want to work somewhere else? Do you have transportation restrictions? Like, do you take the bus, or, you know, maybe you share a car with someone, so you're only going to have it on XYZ days, whatever that may be. I want to work on your LinkedIn. Yes, you should be using LinkedIn. You absolutely should use LinkedIn. It is a gold mine. And I'm not going to get into like a huge tangent on LinkedIn because I'm trying to keep good time. I mean, Randy and Caroline know that like I just go off on like tangents and I have to stay focused. But so basically you have to use LinkedIn. I'm going to tell you why. It's good for professional stalking, right? If you are on LinkedIn, I hate the term professional stalking. It's good for doing people research. People research, that's a good one. It's good for finding out who works at these companies, who do I need to connect with, what skills and abilities are on people's LinkedIn profiles. If you're looking to get a job at the networking is a really great term as well. But that's separate from what I'm talking about. So like, let's say you're looking to get a job at the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging, or if you want to do an internship there, I want you to go, I'm going to say, hey, go on LinkedIn. What are these people doing? What computer programs are on their LinkedIn that they know? You know, what are you seeing in common as far as skills and job duties? Can you do that stuff? How do you get there? How do you get into doing this stuff? And I don't want to wait. Let me go back in the chat. And as Harold said in the chat, it's also good for networking. It's great for just building that professional network. We also are going to talk about personal branding. We're going to talk about interviewing. We're going to get all of those puzzle pieces together so that you have a complete picture and you're ready to go job searching. So I do want to, what's the word? I want to make sure that you guys know, I want to highlight that we don't give you a job. We don't do placement. We help you become the most competitive candidate you can be. We help you find positions. We show you where to look, and then you guys apply to them. Every semester, I always get a handful of students who are like, well, no, like you're going to give me a job. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that was like clear. Oh no. There we go. All right, so let's get out of here real quick and go to our website. This is the Career Center website. And this is how you'd enter Handshake. Of course it's not saved. Oh, okay. No, okay, what about, there we go. Okay, and I have to do the duo. This is so annoying. There we go. Okay. Oh, no, you guys won't see that. That's the staff version. What you guys see is a lot more interesting when you log in, for sure. This is what you'll see. So they'll give you like little things that you can do, little like suggestions. But really the first thing you want to do is you want to look at your feed. You want to look at, you know, new jobs recommended for you or internships, depending on where you're at. You're all freshmen, right? I just wanted to make sure. So it's going to show you like part-time jobs, on-campus jobs, internships. I think I'm a junior or a senior in the system now. I got to go back and change it. So it shows me like full-time jobs, but based off of where you are, it's going to show you things that have to do with you. So it'll show you different full-time jobs you might be interested in or internships. It'll show you the positions that you have saved, recommendations based off your activity. This is a great way to sort of start your job search. But then what you want to do is you want to go to jobs, right? Okay, it's really simple to use. You put in a keyword. Let's do social media because that could sort of apply to a bunch of different majors. You're looking for an internship. You want to add in a location. All right, 61 found. And then you can click on something. Sometimes it'll let you apply right through Handshake using your profile. And I'm going to show you like what your Handshake profile looks like. Some of them will bump you to the employer website. You can save a job. You can save the search so that it notifies you every time something gets added that meets that criteria. I always say save your search, work smart, not hard. I didn't put that on the tips list, but that is my number one biggest tip is work smart, not hard, because you're college students. Most of you probably work. Some of you have family obligations. Some of you have all of this stuff on your plate. Like the level of just, I don't even know how to describe it. Like students at this university compared to other universities I've worked at have so much on their plate, and you guys always rise to that occasion. And it just blows my mind because I don't think I could have handled everything that you guys handle when I was like going to college. I don't think I could have handled it. And it blows my mind. And I'm so proud of like all of my students. But I always tell my students, work smart, not hard, because you have all of that on your plate. And part of working smart is saving your job search so that you get notified so you don't have to constantly sign back in. So that's how you use the job search engine. You can look at your saved jobs. There's a quick apply option as well. So apply is when you have to choose your documents. Quick apply is when, oh, I accidentally applied for that. I'm going to rescind my application after this. But no, like a quick apply is when you just apply using your Handshake profile. So your Handshake profile, if you go up here and you click on my profile, it'll show you your Handshake profile. You know, full transparency, my profile is fake. Every semester I pick a different TV character and then I base my profile off of them. So this is David. Ew, David. Yeah, David. I love this show and I love David. And I cried when it ended. I think I cried for like a solid hour because I was like addicted to this show. I binge watched it, I think in like 3 days. On a long weekend I was off from work, I binge watched it. It's a great show, but I based my profile off of David. So like what you want to do is you want to take your critiqued resume and use that as a starting point. And you want to fill out as much information as you can to give yourself the most on that profile, because the more you have on there, the more it's going to work for you. If you want your career counselor to critique this, they absolutely will. I critique a lot of Handshake profiles and a lot of LinkedIn profiles in addition to documents. Once you're comfortable with it, you can actually there's like usually a button here. I already made mine public, so it's not there, but you can make your profile visible to employers and other students and alumni. And I'm going to tell you why. David's profile is public. And he gets tons of messages from employers, different HR people saying, hey, you should apply to this. Hey, David, hi, David, I hope this message finds you well, blah, 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 apply to this. And that adds a layer to your job search. So you're not just looking, they're looking for you. Again, work smart, not hard. Just gonna check the chat. Okay, just checking. Okay, so I showed you Handshake. I showed you the profile. Where are we at with time? Oh, I'm making good time. I got like a solid like 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna leave some time open for questions. Let me get back to the presentation. I'm sure there's something in there we can talk about. Okay. So in addition to Handshake, we have Career Shift. I prefer to show students that in an appointment because Handshake is our job database. We put in the work, putting jobs and internships in there, making connections with employers. Career Shift is like a meta search engine. So it's pulling from the entirety of the internet and it shows you jobs, contacts, and companies. So like, I'll show you real quick, but I don't want to get into tons of detail on how to use it, only because it's going to take some time. I could get lost in here for hours. This Career Shift is a lot. It's overwhelming. So I like to say that Handshake is like a lake, like it's stocked with different type of fish. Career Shift is like an ocean. So you have to build the net to catch the fish that you want because it's a meta search engine. So you can look for contacts, companies, and jobs. And what I like about this is that it has a work from home option. So you can click that. You can search by state, province, city, metro region, or by postal zip code and area. You can't do all three at once. You have to pick one. But really, like, it's insane. So like do an advanced search, marketing. Let's say you want to look in Virginia in the Richmond area for an internship in marketing. 8. We're a little late into internship season, so that's probably why. Oh, that's something else we need to talk about because I'm not sure if this is anywhere in the presentation, but it really bears repeating. I'm not just going to say it once, I'm going to say it twice. Plan ahead. Plan ahead. Seriously, plan ahead, because if you want an internship, you have to apply to that the semester ahead of time. So if you're looking for a spring internship, we're going to start the process probably in like January. No, wait, sorry. If you want a spring internship that starts in January, we're going to start applying for them in like September, October. If you want a fall internship, we're going to start looking in like April. We always plan the semester ahead for what we want. So again, this is Career Shift. I'm not going to get too deep into it though. Going global, I would show you in an appointment because that's more geared toward an international job search. And then again, every career counselor has like a specific list of websites. Whoops, there we go. All right, career events. We have tons of different career events, whether they be job fairs. We're probably doing separate virtual fairs based off of industry career cluster. We're not 100% sure yet. We'll let you guys know when we know. We do employer info session, industry specific events like different networking nights based off of different majors. Oh, do you have a question? Yes, I agree with Randy. Internships are super important. The earlier you start, the better it is. Oh yeah, that is a great point that Randy made, is that jobs on paper are usually not a full accurate picture of what the job actually entails every day. So what I'm going to say about that is network, ask people what they do in their job. I had a friend when we were in college and she was convinced, I'm going to work in publishing. I want to edit books and I want to do publishing. And she applied for a bunch of publishing internships and only publishing internships. She started it. She didn't like it. She hated it. And she was stuck in that internship for an entire semester because it's better to have something compared to nothing on your resume. And she was like right in her senior year. She waited till the last minute. If she would have talked to someone and networked and asked people who work in publishing, hey, what do you do? Tell me about your job. She could have avoided that. She didn't network at all, and that really hurt her. When do students usually start to apply for internships? The semester ahead of time. So if you want a spring internship, you should be applying for them in the fall. What do we need for an internship? That depends on the internship. I would say you need a decent GPA. So really work on keeping your GPA high because that's going to be a gatekeeper. I would say some type of practical experience, right? So like an internship, a club, part-time job, right? Volunteer work. That always looks good on a resume. I do want to impress this upon you though. A lot of students will be like, I've never worked in marketing before, or I've never worked, you know, in XYZ industry. All I did was work at Target. First off, if you're working at Target and you're surviving, good for you, because that place is a complete mess. I give you props for surviving at Target because that's a tough place to work. But aside from that, if you're working in food service or retail or something like that, that's related experience. You're getting a lot of great skills that are transferable. That's why we call them transferable skills that you can put in your resume that'll sort of help you get into internships. Very few people get into internships with related experience. Yeah, customer service is a part of every job. It's part of my job. I have to toe that line between being real and customer service. That's just part of every job. Communication, customer service, time management, or being organized, setting priorities. What else? Writing. You would be surprised how big a job aspect writing is. Whether you're in my job where you're writing reports and emails, you might be working in advertising or PR where you're writing every day. There are very few fields where you don't write. So again, these are all transferable. Any other questions? Because this chat box is really small. Hold on. There we go. Yep. Okay, we addressed everything. Okay. I'm gonna just keep it open and leave it down in the corner. Okay. Yeah, so we do tons of different career events. I suggest you go because FaceTime with the employers, whether it be virtual or in person, it makes a difference. I've heard employers say to us, oh, well, I've never met this student before. They weren't at any of the events. And, you know, I already know these students. They've already made their interests clear, and they do make decisions off of stuff like that. Graduate school. So we help you through that application process from like, hey, I want to get a graduate degree, all the way through like, yay, I got accepted to these programs, hopefully. We help you with like, hey, what standardized tests do you need to take? Let's critique your CV or your resume, your personal statements. Yes, there's a big difference between resumes and CVs, but not everyone applying to grad school will have a CV. It really depends on what type of program you're applying for and what experience you have. And I hate to say this, you're undergrad students, so your CV will most likely look like a resume. Sorry. I always get a couple students who get offended by that, and I'm like, ugh, it's the truth. It's the truth. There are very few students who truly have like a full fleshed out CV. Most of the time, they're still going to look at resume. But don't worry, when you make an appointment and you talk to your career counselor, they're going to walk you through like, do you need a resume or a CV? Let's critique your personal statements. Where are you looking to go to school, and how do you plan on paying for it? We can sort of help you figure out like, hey, what assistantships are available at this college? You know, what are some options? We're not as good as financial aid with that. Like financial aid is really who you want to talk to, but we can give you some ideas. I have a database filled with scholarships for like graduates, so like master's and PhD level, that I like to give the students. I mean, they give you scholarships based off of like where you're going, your background. I had a student apply to a scholarship for left-handed people. I'm serious. It was in that database, based off of your program, stuff like that. So again, like, it's good to at least make an appointment. And I'm going to say this too, because I'm not sure if I put this in the presentation somewhere, but I would rather you make an appointment and waste 30 minutes of your time. By the way, I guarantee you, you will not waste 30 minutes of your time. You'll get something out of it, than be like, oh, I have everything handled and I'm fine. I want to make sure that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. My job is to poke a hole in your plan. Well, not to poke a hole. I don't want to, let me reword that. I don't want to poke holes in your plan. I want to find the holes that are already there and weave something over it. I can't believe I just told you. I don't actually want to poke holes in your plan. My job is to find the holes that are already in your plan and help you fill them in. Right? So some students will say, oh, I'm going to become a counselor. And I'm like, great. And they're like, yeah, I can't wait to graduate and start looking for jobs. And I'm like, well, hold on. And then I'm like, what type of counseling do you want to do? And they're like, oh, I want to be a family therapist. And I'm like, you sort of need a graduate degree for that. Like, are you thinking of going to grad school? And they're like, oh, I didn't know I had to go to grad school. Or, I'll have students that are applying for OT programs, occupational therapy, and they don't realize that they need shadowing hours until they have an appointment, and it's too late to get them because they missed the application deadline. Again, it always helps to make an appointment as soon as you can. I know you're busy, you have all these obligations, but again, you don't have to physically show up for your appointment. We do virtual appointments too. So it helps to make the appointment, to make sure that there are no holes in your plan, and to make a plan B, especially if your plan involves something like graduate school. You want to make sure that you have a plan B, even maybe a plan C, because what if you don't get in? I'm going to be real with you guys. I applied for 3 grad programs, which was a mistake. I should have applied for more, and I only got into 2 of them, and I couldn't afford one of the 2. That was not smart. The one I picked gave me an assistantship, so I didn't have to pay for the whole degree. But I was like, I feel like I'm backed into a corner because I have to choose this. Maybe I should have applied to more programs so I would have had more options. So again, like, make an appointment. Tips, here we go. Let's talk about some tips. Okay, so most of these have to do with career counseling stuff, but some of these are just really good tips in general for college students. Find out what you want to do as soon as you can. So if you're undecided, there is no shame in that at all. But you want to find out as soon as you can. So make an appointment. Let's figure it out. Let's help you get a game plan. You definitely want to figure it out, because the sooner you figure it out, the sooner you can get a plan together, and the sooner you can start gaining experiences and getting yourself ready for the field you want to get into. Real quick, there's like a bunch of stuff going on in the chat. Do you advise students to start looking for internships during their freshman and sophomore years? I would say sophomore, junior. There are programs. Can you stop? No, you went outside right before the presentation. My dog is more annoying than my toddler. True story. Where was I going with this? So like freshmen, yes, there are some career development programs and like smaller internships for freshmen, and you can absolutely do them. But I start encouraging students to really start looking their sophomore, junior year. And their senior year, if they still haven't done it by senior year. Yes, you can absolutely have my email. I'll make sure to give you that at the end of the presentation. And I love my toddler. I love my dog, but the dog is more intense than the toddler. Yes, I'm talking about you. So back on track. Make a game plan. We talked about this. I want you to have game plan A, your backup B, and your backup C, because my job isn't to tell you what you should be doing. My job is to help you make a plan to reach your professional goals and to make sure that your professional goals are solid, right, and well-defined. So like if you say to me, I want to join the circus. I'm not going to be like, seriously, you want to join the circus? I'm not going to judge you personally. Might be fun, but if that's your career goal, I'm going to help you figure that out. But I'm also going to say, hey, there aren't a ton of circuses around. This is obviously hypothetical. Let's come up with a B and a C. Even if you have something super solid, I still might encourage you to have at least a B, especially if that involves grad school. Join clubs, get involved, build that resume. So everything in your life is like, what's the word I'm thinking of? I just had a brain freeze. Everything in your life is predecessed by something else. That is not the word. So everything that happens in your life is based off of things that you already did, right? So if your goal is to get a job when you graduate, there are things you have to do before getting a job. You have to get experience. How do you get experience? By doing an internship. How do you get experiences to put on your resume so that you can get an internship? You join clubs, you get involved, you build that resume. Everything's a brick. And each brick goes on top of another brick, right? I hope I'm explaining that well. You definitely want to make sure that you're doing what you have to do to build an exceptional resume. Because again, your resume is that super epic document that's going to be a snapshot of what you've been doing for the past 4 years, right? So when you're a senior and you're, at the end of your senior year, when you're interviewing for jobs, or you might be interviewing for grad programs, they're going to look at your resume and say, okay, this is what you've been doing during your time in college. So you want to fill it up with really great stuff. So join clubs, get involved, do research, get a leadership position, go Greek, study abroad, do something to put on that resume. Related experience, you guys should be getting related experience like part-time jobs, shadowing, volunteerism. Going to class is not enough. If you're the student that's going to go to class and come home, you're cheating yourself, because there are so many resources and so many things you can do that are going to help mold you into the professional that you're meant to be. That sounds so cheesy. I sound like a motivational speaker, but you want to get involved. You want to build these experiences so that you can go from like, hey, I'm a freshman college student, to like, I'm that big bad senior that has done everything and has this awesome resume. I can say this to college students. My dad always tells me, don't be the prey, be the wolf. He has told me that my entire life. Margaret, don't be the prey, be the wolf. You're the wolf when you've made yourself the wolf, right? I'm not telling you go be a predator, but what I'm telling you is be the big bad in the room, do the resumes, and Randy's smiling at me like, what are you telling these students? But it's true. Get at the top of that food chain, do the internship, get the experience, build that bad, not that bad, but that really good resume, right? Be a rock star. Because guess what? The job market right now, it's not great. I don't think it's as bad as the recession I landed myself in after college. And I'm not saying that to be like back in my day, I'm not going there. But what I'm saying is it's still a bit stagnant. It's bouncing back after COVID. It's not let me say this, it's not the ideal job market for every industry. So you want to be qualified. You want to arm yourself with that resume that's going to give you the passport to get into the places that you want to go. On that note, keep your GPA high, because trust me, if you want to do research with, professor whoever, they're going to look at your GPA. If you want a super competitive internship, they're going to look at your GPA. If you want to go to grad school, I'm sure you guys can fill in what I'm about to say, they'll look at your GPA. So you want to have a high GPA. That's why I'm telling you, if you're in a major you don't like and it's tanking your GPA, that is not good. If you're having personal issues that are impacting your GPA, go to mental health services on the second floor. Yeah, it's on the second floor. I literally have not been on campus since January 2020. Yeah, it's on the second floor of the campus center. Like, get the help that you need. Figure out your stuff so that it's not impacting your GPA. And that's what I'm also going to talk about. Get help before it's a problem. So if you're having personal issues and you need counseling, we have that resource here. If you're really struggling in a class, go to tutoring. Get tutoring before it's the end of the semester and it's down to one test and you're freaking out because, oh my gosh, my life's going to be ruined when I fail this class. Get tutoring as soon as you realize, okay, this is a problem. Visit your professors during office hours. Talk to your professors. If you need to, talk to the dean of students, talk to the department chair. Don't procrastinate. Address stuff when it's fresh in your mind as soon as you realize it's a problem, because problems are like weeds in a garden. They just pop up and they multiply. So you want to nip it in the bud. Make time for yourself to recharge. I've noticed in general, college students seem to be very stressed out and very anxious. Maybe that's when they're in my office, they're like that because they're looking for a job or an internship. But I just think generally you guys tend to be stressed out, especially with COVID on top of it. This past year, the stress has been at another level. So I'm always telling students, make time for yourself to recharge. Read a book, watch a TV show, go hang out with your friends. Do once a week or maybe twice a week, depending on how much time you have. Do something for you. Every day, even if it's just 15 minutes, set some time aside to just like stop and sit down and breathe. I think when I became a mom, I had to learn that lesson the hard way, to just recharge and to stop. And I don't want you guys learning it the hard way. When I was in college, I worked 40 hours a week and went to school full time. And not quite 40 hours. I would say maybe over the summer it was 40 hours because I only took one class, but probably like anywhere from like 20 to 30. And I was like in clubs. I did a lot. I would wake up at 5 a.m., go to my job at the bakery. Usually I'd burn myself because I'm a klutz, so I'd have to deal with that throughout the day. But then I would work from like 5 to like 8, get to my 9 a.m. class at Rowan because the parking at Rowan was out of control. So I'll tell you how I managed that. Hold on. Would park, go to my morning class, go to my job as a student worker, usually do my homework at my job. Then I'd go to more classes because I always took night classes. Then I'd go out with my friends for the night, come home at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., sleep, and then wake up again at 4:30 to get to the bakery by 5. So, I mean, I didn't go out every night, but I went out enough that was a regular, I know that was a lot. And I managed that just by not sleeping. And it was not healthy. No, honestly, it wasn't. So I had to learn the hard way in college, slow down, manage your time. It's not healthy to add too much to your plate. Self-care. Yes, Brandon, self-care. Tip, if you work on campus, there's a lot of places that will, yeah, honestly, working on campus is a luxury. That is like the cream of the crop job for college students because a lot of them will let you do homework. Work study is the best. I loved it. And not every work study is federal work study. Some of them are independent work study. So hopefully you'll find something, but you have to do self-care, and not even self-care. You have to prioritize. Like, you don't have to go out every night. Once or twice a week is fine. You know, is working a ton of hours the smartest idea? You know, maybe reevaluating your finances. I mean, really making the commitment to being a good student and studying. If you can't, maybe you have to work full time or you have to work a lot while you're in school. So maybe just taking 4 classes during a semester and doing some summer classes. I mean, that's really a question for your academic advisor too. But again, like making time for yourself, and really what that comes down to is my last bullet, making smart decisions and thinking in the long term. You guys have to think long term. The decisions you make now, and I'm not trying to put pressure on you at all, but I do want to put like a little bit of pressure on you at the same time. Make smart decisions, because the decisions you're making now are going to impact you in the long term. For example, I have a friend, and I'm not going to say what his name is. He went to a party like our junior year, and he got really drunk and he drove home. He didn't hit anyone, thank God, didn't get into an accident, but he did get pulled over and he got a DUI. And everyone was like, oh, you're going to be fine. You can, go get a lawyer and, fight that. He did not win. He got a DUI. It is on his record. And he wanted to work in a government job, which is difficult if you have a DUI. It could also be very difficult to work in the public sector in certain places if you have a DUI. That's going to impede you into getting a job sometimes. Not everywhere, but in some places. That was a bad decision that impacted him in the long term. So I always say, make smart decisions and think, is this going to impact all the hard work that I just did? I'm not trying to parent you guys because I'm technically not old enough to be any of your parents, but I am going to say this: the decisions you make now will impact you. Like, oh, I'll just do an internship my senior year. And it's like, but let's talk about that and try to get you to do it your junior year, so that if you don't like it, you can do another one your senior year in an area that you like. Really, I mean, if it was like ideal, like if this were the ideal situation, I would meet with you your freshman year, get a game plan together, and then just see you once a semester after that, or twice if you need it, just, to touch base, help you with what you need help with. But I don't always meet students their freshman year. So like whenever you eventually come see us, which I hope you do, we'll sit with you and we'll help you out. I'm going to stop. Oh, I only left 3 minutes for questions. Okay. Does anyone have questions? I'm sorry. I do this every time. I'm sorry. Any questions?
If you could maybe throw your email in the chat.
Oh, yes.
And then if anyone has questions, they are not comfortable sharing, then maybe they can email you as well. Do students have access to Handshake now is a question.
Probably not until August.
Okay.
Oh, I do want to say, yes, that's a different last name than the one I have. That's my maiden name and my email. Rutgers won't change it. So if you're like, well, she said her name was Maggie Land. Maggie is short for Margaret, and that's my old last name, but that is my email. Who has a hamster as their little picture? That is adorable. Oh my gosh, it's a baby hamster. Oh, I love it. No, I don't care that your camera is not working. That hamster is adorable. I had a hamster when I was like in middle school and high school, and it lived for 6 years, which is like abnormal for hamsters. It is not embarrassing. It is so cute. I love hamsters. He lived for like 6.5 years, and he like went blind, and like he would like walk in little circles because he couldn't see anything, and he was so cute. But then he died my junior year of high school. It was really sad. All right, if you have questions, email me and ask. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And if it's not something that I can help you with, I'll direct you to the office that can help. Randy, thanks for having me. I love coming and talking.
Thank you, Maggie. Can we all like give a virtual round of applause or snaps or thank you in the chat to Miss Maggie for taking time out of her day to present to us. This was awesome and super helpful. I really do hope you guys
Appreciate it.
Yes, I really hope you guys
Anytime.
take her advice. Visit the Career Center. Start thinking about plans. We do have a workshop next week you're gonna meet some professors on campus and some of the majors that some of you guys are interested in. So that might help as well. Start to think about all of this stuff. But the number one takeaway is that you don't have to have it all figured out today. That's why you're here. That's why these offices exist, because we want to help you figure it all out. So just reach out and ask. That's all you have to worry about doing. But thank you so much, Maggie.
Anytime, and sorry if the last slide got a little preachy, but I feel like I have to tell students these things.
It's okay. No, we're telling all the same thing. So we're on the same page.
Awesome. Bye, guys.